Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Oh, there he is. Hello, here I am. I'm holding space. You see this space right here, this little square. That means it's Tuesday, and we are live holding space on the Sacred Spiral Network, on the Sacred Spiral Network. I'm excited to be here. I love the Sacred Spiral Network. What an amazing place it is. Hello, Mandy Johnson. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, me and my shadow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love it when people come early and fill up the front seats. This is a live show. It's a little bit different than the podcast that I watch. I love watching these amazing conversations about consciousness and reality and energy and quantum physics and AI and all of the amazing things that are going on at this moment. But this is a little bit different. This is a live show, so it's not as sharply produced and edited, but that means that you guys can all interact. So that is very, very cool. And I love seeing everybody here. Crystal, what is happening? If you want, occasionally, let's tickle the algorithm, right? Let's tell the world of YouTube and the internet that there's a show going on that we want it to suggest to other people. And you can do that by just typing #live in the comments. Or sharing or liking the video. All of that stuff helps. So let's just grow this community. What is up, Helen Wagner? Good to see you. Yeah, I think as far as that goes, what was I just going to say? Oh my God, I had this thought in my head about tickling the algorithm, about #live. Oh, #replay. If it's not Tuesday, May 12th, excuse me, then that means you're watching a replay, and you can type in #replay, and that will still tickle the algorithm and help grow this community. Evelyn, thank you for noticing my haircut. I have needed this haircut for a couple of months now, but I haven't said anything. I've just been kind of dealing with it, and I was so happy on Saturday to get my haircut. Shout out to Deb on Hair, who is my hairstylist. So cool. Anyway, not to ramble, I do get into that sometimes, but let's all get together and clear out the space, set the intention for a cool hour. I'm excited to meet somebody new who goes under the no filter medium. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. And you know how I love to learn about people's stories, how they came to this moment with their gifts or with whatever connection they have to source. And we get to share it and talk about it. What is up, Myra? What is up, Maggie? Awesome. Good to see everybody coming in here. Some new names. Welcome. I love that. So I do this, the 3 breaths. I do it with my singing bowl, who I have affectionately named Sage, because the way I use it is I clear out the space, right? So instead of lighting sage, I ring the bowl, I make the tone, and I do 3 breaths. Breathing is fundamental. You guys should know how to do it, but the way I like to do it is in through the nose, 3 or 4 count, hold it up at the top just for a second, and then intentionally blow it out, push it out, feel it leave your body, feel your shoulders sink a little bit as you're letting it out, and just breathe with intention, right? It happens all day long and you're not thinking about it. It's just keeping you alive. But connecting to the breath, I think, is a really important way to kind of get inside and just really be there in the moment, right? There's a physiological effect that happens. Kind of feel a little lightheaded after 3 deep breaths. So let's do it together. Here we go. Sage, do your thing. All right, so breathe in through the nose. Hold it up at the top and then let it go. Sink into it. To another one in. Hold it up at the top for just a second. Feel it release. I like when I make a little sound and I do it. It feels good to emote. One more together. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. When you hold it a little bit, I think you get a little of that physiological effect. You connect to it a little bit. The blood's pumping. The breath is pumping. We did it. Thank you guys for indulging me in the 3 breaths. So without further ado, let's get this show going. Tonight's guest is named Ashleigh Paige. Her name is Ashleigh Paige. She's a spiritual medium. She's an oracle. She is a certified spirit release therapist. So that's something I'm interested in talking to her a little bit about. I think there's an aspect of the other realm, the non-physical realm, that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and that is when spirits kind of can attach themselves to you. I'm imagining that that's what she's talking about. So we'll find out. What's up, Arnie? Good to see you. What is up, Ona? What is up, Australia? Elaine from Australia is here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And the beautiful Jennifer Rose is here. Taylor. Wow, we got a lot of people coming in here, new names that I haven't seen before. So welcome and thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your energy. That just means it's going to be that much better. I'm super excited. So without further ado, please welcome to Holding Space, Ashleigh Paige.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you brought a party with you, huh?
Apparently. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this is the first time you and I are meeting. I know on the Sacred Spiral Network, there's a bunch of people, and I have a lot of the hosts on as my guests, and there's an amazing community, as we can see out there in the audience, who loves interacting with us. But I would love to learn a little bit about you. I have this kind of, my audience knows, I have this psychic fetish, which means I don't seek psychic mediums myself, right, to have a reading, but I love being around readings. I love feeling the energy exchange. I love watching somebody get a message that's like in the ether meant for them, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So I read a little bit about you, and you're one of those people whose story starts at a young age, right, where you had something happening, you knew something was going on. And tell me a little bit about that, because I love that aspect.
Yeah, I've been aware of spirit since I can remember. I used to have experiences in my bedroom as a child. I didn't know it then, but it was actually my spirit team and also some of my family members who had crossed over. And I would tell my mom what I was experiencing, and she always taught me to never tell anyone. They'll think you're crazy. They'll put you in the mental hospital. But what's interesting is I actually grew up religious, and my mom is religious, but she also was aware of spirit. So she would tell me about her experiences, which was really cool. So I've just always had like an innate knowing that there was more to the world than what we can see with our eyes. And I apologize, my cat is.
I love that. I love that. What's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. What's the word for like the sidekick apprentice animal? There's a word for it. I forget. Somebody in the audience knows it, right? Like all the Harry Potter, they all have like this companion animal, and there's a word for it. I can't.
Is it a familiar?
A familiar. So I think that. Yeah, I was just like, that's immediately what I thought. I was just like, yep, those are familiar.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've actually never watched Harry Potter.
Oh, really? I'm not into that. I don't either, like a lot. I mean, I've seen it, but I'm not like a, like a big fan, or like, like I know all of the lore, but the idea of a familiar is not, exclusive to Harry Potter. That's, I mean, that's like a witch, or not a witch, but you know what I mean? That's like kind of like the metaphysical lore.
Yes. Yeah, she definitely loves the energy. She loves mediumship. She does this all the time in my reading. And I used to actually put her in a different room, and I stopped doing that. I find that people, they love it. So I just let her roam.
The energy is amazing. Yeah, for sure.
No, it's very, very high. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question though. So you said that your mom told you not to talk about it, but she wasn't saying like you're crazy. She was just saying people won't understand.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm really the reason I love the stories and the idea of people connecting with something when they're young and then kind of repressing it or being told like, "Hey, don't talk about it," is because I believe I had an experience where I was told, and I never talk about like a guy told me this or a guy told me that, but this was one of those experiences where reality lies within imagination. Like imagination isn't within reality. Reality is within imagination. And I feel like when we're younger, we don't have these layers telling us not to connect with imagination on that level. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm fascinated. So tell me about how that all worked out for you. Like, so your mom told you not to talk. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue with your story.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So I actually grew up going to church on Sundays. I was baptized, went to communion. I used to go to Sunday school. I also joined youth group, and I suppressed my abilities because I was also bullied in school. I was kind of always an outcast. I always felt kind of different than other people. So I didn't really want to attract more attention to myself. So I just shut down, and I continued going to church because it was important to my mom. But over time, I started to realize that it didn't really line up with how I felt inside, because I mean, the Bible will teach you people like me are like an abomination to the Lord. And I knew I could feel the presence of this immense amount of love within myself. And I care so deeply for people. So for me, it didn't line up with, things I was reading in the Bible. I knew I wasn't demonic. I knew there wasn't, something evil talking to me, because the presence in my room and what I now know to be my spirit team was very loving. So I think I was 13. I actually got kicked out of youth group for questioning the beliefs of some of the religious leaders in the youth group. So that kind of ended that. My dad actually said when I got to a certain age, you don't have to go back if you don't want to, which kind of upset my mom, but it kind of allowed me to kind of be more comfortable, I guess, with who I am. And he always taught me to never make up your own mind about things, never tell anyone, or sorry, never let anyone tell you what to
Right.
believe.
Right.
So I was repressed. I was shut down for a long time, but then in my 30s I actually learned Reiki, and that blew everything wide open. I ended up doing like a level 1 attunement. And I always tell people, for me, my experience, because everyone has a different experience with the attunements for Reiki. But for me, it was like I literally went from watching life in like regular, like if you're watching television on a regular channel, to being attuned, and now everything is in high definition. How I see things, colors, how I hear things. It was like the world was like enhanced, if I can say it that way.
Totally, yeah.
It just absolutely fascinated me. And I only took that course because I wanted to learn how to heal myself. And then I ended up doing level 2, and then I did a master attunement. And that's when things really started to come online for me. I actually started like doing treatments on people, and I would have, people who had crossed over would show up, and I'd be able to give messages while I was doing Reiki. So it just kind of naturally unfolded for me. And then I started seeing like angels, ascended masters, people that I knew who had crossed over. And I thought, I really got to do something about this, because it intrigued me, but I was also frightened by it. And that's when I took mediumship development. And that's when things really started to take off. I've been developing now for the last 2 years, and now I do this as a side business professionally.
Awesome. I love that. I love that we're actually in a time where you can easily find that now, right? Like, I mean, I can imagine 20 years ago, it wasn't easy to find mediumship, development classes, intuitive development classes. And I love that we're living in a time where people are coming into these realizations about energy and their own connections to energy. And for me in particular, I really like what you're saying, because I feel like it's like you said, everybody has their own experience with a Reiki attunement, right? And I think it's bigger than that. I think everybody has their own experience with a human lifetime.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And they're so different and so unique. And so, you know, right now for me is navigating um the amazing energy that's happening and the amazing transformations that are happening, with also there's an influx of people who are like kind of telling you this is how it is, right?
Mhm.
And whenever I hear somebody kind of speak with that kind of tone, I just want to be like, well, that's how it is for you, right?
Mhm.
Like that may not be how it is for me, right? And
That's right.
then even when I hear other people putting down those people and saying, oh, you know, they're just telling you what to do, I'm like, well, they're telling you it from their perspective. And just like I want to do, and just like you want to do, is you want to tell people your perspective. And that's what these shows are about. I think holding space for me and the live stream of consciousness, you know, these are places where I was telling you earlier, everybody can hold up their puzzle piece and then decide freely, like, oh, I might fit next to that puzzle piece, or yeah, I don't fit next to that puzzle piece, and either one of those is okay, because
Mhm.
you're still a piece of the puzzle in the big picture, and you fit somewhere, right? I love that. I love the story. I love the story of you know, kind of being bullied, because it
Mhm.
didn't feel good, I'm sure, when you were going through it, right? But now you look back and you're like, look at me now, right?
I
I
was
love
so incredibly sensitive. And
it.
a lot of people, and I thought everyone was loving and kind. And I'm a very literal person. If you tell me something, I believe it. And I see the goodness in everyone. That's my heart. That's my soul. So I guess I was naive in the sense that I thought everyone else was just like that. And I
Right.
kind of had to learn the hard way that not everyone is like that. But it also built me into the person I am today. So I'm incredibly grateful for the experience.
Totally. I'm what's coming in my mind is, what a horrible disposition, right? To be that way. But really, the truth is, there are moments that it's kind of horrible, because you do feel like, well, wait a second, why is that person not loving, right? You don't understand, you don't relate to
Mhm.
a lot of people. But then I think for me, at least, because you sound very similar, you realize that you love those people who don't realize that anyway, right? Like the people who are miserable, right? For a while I was like, oh, that person's miserable, I feel so bad. But now it's like the compassion, right? I love them, you know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
I hope you get through that. And you know, I love these conversations for that reason, right? Because we may say something that somebody else, you know, might hear and be like, oh, wait a second, I don't need
Mhm.
to be this way, you know. uh,
Mhm.
that doesn't feel good, right? Because you were talking about the way it felt, right? Like, again, I love your story so much, because it's so common to be in church and be like, this doesn't feel right, right? And I think for me, you know, also, I mean, I grew up Jewish, but it's very similar, right? Like there's stories of the all loving God you hear, and then all of a sudden there's like, but there's judgment, right? Judgment day and all of these, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I love that as a catalyst to look elsewhere and find a deeper truth, right? To connect to that love that was inside you, like you said.
Mhm.
I
And
think
really
that,
trusting that, right? Like knowing without a shadow of a doubt that like I knew within like my heart and my soul that I was a good person, and that no matter what anyone else told me, I knew that that was true.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I stayed true to that. So,
Totally, totally. Yeah, I mean, I talk about that all the time on these shows, about energy and how you decide, right? That moment in the day. And I know my audience is sick of it hearing me say this, right? But like, hey, how's it going, right? Like that moment is an opportunity to set a tone, to
mhm.
like, you know, put out some energy and be like, I'm great, I'm doing really good. Not like, eh, you know, I'm getting by, you know, living the dream, you know, being sarcastic about it or whatever. Um, but you know, I know for me that really worked. That really changed things. Just kind of being aware of that moment and intention and energy and all of that stuff. Awesome. So you've been doing psychic development for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Um, when did the tarot cards come into play, and what does that mean for you? Because I'm also fascinated by that.
It's actually interesting because I learned mediumship first. And for me, I feel like mediumship is a really good foundation because, and I've actually been thinking about this recently, and I said this on another episode. another show that I did, because I said, you know, not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. But I'm like, I don't really know if that's accurate or not. Because really it's just, where are you pointing your attention in the one field of awareness? That's how I look at it, right? So psychics are reading energy, mediums are, you know, speaking to people who have crossed over. So I actually,
Which
yeah,
is another form of energy to me. Like I feel
right?
like it's just a different expression of energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually learned mediumship first, and that kind of gave me a really solid foundation, because it taught me how to read energy. And then I kind of just picked out some decks that I was drawn to, and I just started playing with them. And to be honest with you, I found it really hard to know and learn the meaning of each card traditionally, and I just kind of read the cards intuitively. And that's how I read when I do a psychic reading. So for me, that's kind of how that developed. I know people, when I do readings, they like the cards, they like the visuals of it. And I feel too, it's an added tool that I can use. So it was kind of something that came after I developed mediumship, which is kind of interesting, because I feel like people sometimes learn the tarot first and then develop mediumship. But mine was kind of, I guess, the opposite.
Right. Well, you know, and again, for me, I feel like true intuitives express that everybody can do it. Right. True intuitives are not like, well, I have this gift and you don't, you know what I mean? And so you need me. And you were actually even saying this, right? Like you learned Reiki to heal yourself. I think that's what Reiki is, right? It's not really to heal someone else, but it's to help somebody heal themselves, right? And kind of understand. And an attunement is getting in tune with energy, right? And kind of just feeling it a different way. It's a perception, but I think it's a combination of a physical thing, a thought thing, you know what I mean? Like just a feeling, you know, an emotional thing. You know, I think it's a combination of all of those things, which is energy. You know, so awesome. So I'm a creative visual, right? So I'm a visual artist. So for me, I think that the fascination with tarot cards was that at first, right? These visual representations, and all of the different cards now that they have, the different decks in all different art styles. I find it really fascinating, and I find it, again, I feel like I'm watching people figure out different pathways to connect with source, to connect with energy, right? And whether it be, oh, I picked up a card and the name of the card, or the symbols on the card, or the picture on the card, or just holding the card and the vibration of the card, right? I mean, a lot of times I love when people are shuffling a deck and one jumps out and they're like, oh, that's the one, right? You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just so much fun. I love watching it, and I love all of the different aspects of it, right? All of the different kind of iterations of tarot cards and angel cards and oracle cards. And I've been building this app, my audience knows, I cannot wait to put it out, where you can generate your own tarot decks in your own art style, in your own thematic, you know, whatever it is. And I just added to it the ability to generate a deck of playing cards, right? Because playing cards actually are related to tarot cards. They were used that way at one point. So I'm super excited about that. But so tell me about the decks that you use. Is there any, like, what's the significance of the decks that you kind of were drawn to, or were drawn to you?
I actually don't use a traditional tarot deck. I don't even think I have one. That's based on the Rider-Waite, I should say.
The Rider-Waite is the standard deck that most people are familiar with. Yeah,
that's right. I love John Holland decks. Those are probably two of my favorites, and I feel like they match my persona. I'm very much one to tell you what you need to hear, maybe not so much what you want to hear. I'm not a sugarcoater. I feel like if people come to me, they, you know, are drawn to me for that aspect, because I'm very much one, I want to empower people. I never want to make someone reliant on my services. I want to teach you how to develop intuition and do those things for yourself. So I feel like his decks are a little bit more to the point, if I can say it that way, which is just my style of reading. I do have the Light Seers Tarot, so I guess that is based on the Rider-Waite deck, but I find the visuals, like especially for you, I don't know if you are aware of the Light Seers Tarot, but that one has some really good imagery. So it's just something I've been
I
really
have seen it. I like, it's only been really kind of the last couple of years where I'm familiar with the vast amount of decks that are out there. I have a bunch of friends, Arnie in the audience, Brian in the audience, both have incredible decks that they've made. I'm a photographer, so I had started doing a series of artwork where I had a projector and I was projecting patterns onto models and taking photos. And I started doing some things by, like, in Photoshop, like making these mandala patterns out of my images. And I was like, oh, I should make a tarot deck. I just started thinking that. And then I met my friend Brian, who is this incredible artist and had a tarot deck. But not only did he make a tarot deck, it's just like the amount of respect that he has for the lore and the history of the tarot and the story. I was like, oh, I can't just make a tarot deck. I got to understand. I got to learn more about what it means. You know what I mean? So actually, we did a whole show where we went through his deck one card at a time, and the story of the Fool and the Magician and, the whole hero's journey. I learned about it. And again, I'm fascinated with it and how it manifests itself in all of these different types of decks, and how the messages translate to different themes, which is really cool.
That is.
Yes. And Vivian says she loves that philosophy. And Angelo is asking, do you like magic, or do you know someone who does magic?
That's actually not my wheelhouse. I'm not into spells or magic. It's not my thing. I'm also not really big. People always find this really interesting. I'm also not big on astrology. I know a little bit about it, but it's not really, it's not really my wheelhouse. So unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have.
No, you know what? And that's exactly what I was saying, right? I think everybody's perspective is so unique, and that's what I love, right? Like I've seen people, I don't know if you're familiar with Lynn Junot, who is a host on the Sacred Spiral Network, but she does these ribbon readings. She reads ribbons. They're just colored ribbons. And like, again, I feel like you can really decide to connect however you want. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about ruins and people who pick up rocks and twigs, right? And like, they throw them on the ground, and based on how they fall, there's something in the energy of it. Like I think that's just really cool. And like, there's something really ancient about that, and like connected, it's just, I don't know, it may be odd, but yeah. And I mean, astrology. So Jennifer says astrology recently found me again. I know so many people who are so deep in these things, and I'm fascinated by it, but just like you, like, that's not my thing, right? Like, I'm not like, oh, I need to know what house my son was in, or anything like that. But when I am sitting with somebody who is versed, and I listen to what they might have to say about me based on my birth date, like, I feel it, right? Like, so, and if I don't, then I know maybe it's not for me, and it's all good. Anyway, and Arnie says, same here. I'm not traditional. Don't follow zodiac. I follow my intuition.
That's right, Arnie.
Exactly. Right. Like miracles, not all miracles affect all people. Yeah, we're all different. We're all so unique, which again is why I love doing this kind of stuff. So tell me now where you're at after doing a couple of years of medium development classes. My wife is a Reiki Master practitioner, and also gets messages through Reiki, and that was something that until I met her, I hadn't really even heard of that. But of course, when she described it to me, it just made sense, because again, I subscribe to energy, right? Energy is everything, right? And these are just different pathways for it to come through. And she always talks about how when she's relaxing somebody enough, that's why the messages comes through, because you get them into this relaxed state. So tell me how that happened for you when you were doing Reiki and suddenly messages were coming through.
that's definitely the state you want to be in. I always tell people being receptive is the type of energy, because it's the energy of receiving. So that's definitely the flow you want to be in. I think it does have a lot to do with being in that relaxed environment, and you're working with energy. And I feel like spirit knows it's safe to come forward. And I feel like a lot of people that are open to Reiki are also open to intuitive messages. So I feel like they just kind of go like hand in hand. And I feel like for me, it was kind of like a safe way for spirit to come forward and open up without being too frightening, if I can say it that way. So it was a comfortable, sorry, I'm trying to think of the right word.
Well, I totally get it. I mean, I think most people understand that it can be frightening, right? To like suddenly hear voices or see images and really not know what's going on. It can be frightening, and I think a lot of people, psychics that I know, had to kind of come to terms with it and figure out how to deal with it, right? And how to turn it on and off, right? Be like, take ownership and be like, hey, listen, I know, I can see you and I can speak to you, but I got stuff to do right now, and there'll be a time, like let's do it when we both agree to do it, or however that works. Again, I don't do it, but I know enough people who do to have that respect, for how it happens, differently.
And that's a good point, because even though I have been aware of spirit from a young age, I still had to come to terms with it. It was like at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I want this. I don't know if this is the path that I'm supposed to follow. I'm really like freaked out by this, but I'm also slightly intrigued. And it just got to a point where I kept putting myself in, situations where I don't want to say I was forcing myself to do it, because I wasn't, but I just felt like there was this inner knowing that, I didn't have all these experiences by chance. And I just knew I had to follow the path and just see where it led. And and I worked through I used to have really debilitating anxiety. I'm very open about that. I have high functioning anxiety. People don't ever think that, I'm anxious or that I'm nervous, but, and I have a professional job. I, present well in life, but underneath the surface, I had all these doubts and I didn't think I was worthy. And I also struggled a lot with like self-love too. So I had to work through all of those things. And I feel like when you develop mediumship, a lot of those things come to surface, and it's, it's a lot to deal with. So it can be overwhelming a lot of the time. And then you're seeing spirits, and then you think like, is this real? Am I crazy? How are people going to react? So you've got all of these things going on. So it can be quite overwhelming for people when they first open up.
Absolutely. And interesting that you bring that up, right? Self-love. I think that's an important topic. I've had shows just about that, right? Because I think not a lot of people even think about the concept, right? And in the right way, right? Like self-love isn't just like being selfish and all of that stuff. Self-love is putting yourself first and taking care of yourself mentally, physically. And I think I'm just trying to think, because as you were talking about it, like that was a part, you were saying that a lot of that comes to the surface as you're doing this, right? And I think that that's a part of, for me, like that's a part of becoming a grounded, happy spirit, having a human experience, right? Coming to terms with that idea that, there's more to me than this. I am a human being, and I'm here to be a human being. So I like, my mission is to navigate as a human being. For me, the challenge over the last couple of years was balancing that, right? Knowing that I'm more than a human being, but having to be a human being, right? And I just said that way on purpose, right? When you think oh man, I've got to be a human being, like, no, you get to be a human being. You're supposed to be a human being, accepting your strengths and your weaknesses. Exactly that, I feel like you said self-love, and it just kind of sent me on a tangent, because I think that's such an important part of it, and more so than the metaphysical stuff. I think for me, it was almost the opposite, right? It was the self-love that allowed me to open up to the idea that there was more. And I started to do meditation and things that really opened me up to, not my own. See, when my brain does this, like, not my own pursuit of my relationship with my own guides, right? But my understanding that all of that stuff is a part of my existence, for me to tap into if I so choose.
Mhm.
I guess that's the best way to say it, right? And again, hmm, again, my brain starts going, right, because now I'm thinking about, oh well, I choose to kind of have a traditional job and do these things, but there are parts of me that often questions that, right? And it's like, I feel like I should be living on an island eating fresh pineapple for breakfast, you know what I mean? And I'm not. So anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent. I want to hold space for you.
You could one day, right? I mean, that could be 5 years down the road,
Oh,
right?
I have no doubt that I will at some
Right.
point. That will be my reality, because it's in here. And I think that this is where reality comes from. I think we create our own reality,
100%.
which is, that became the show that I do, live stream of consciousness. I call that show Creating Reality, because
Mm.
here it is. For 4 years I've been doing this. I've been having these conversations. I get to meet so many amazing people. I've actually gotten to meet people that I watch on podcasts, and I'm like, oh, I want to talk to that person, and I'll reach out and they'll come on my show. And it's like, wait a second, did that just happen? Oh yeah, it happened, and I made it happen. You know what I mean? And it's just so cool. So anyway, so what is next for you? Because I feel like you're right there, right? Like you just discovered who you are. You just broke out. You're in a new world. You even said it. You're experiencing reality in high definition. You called it. I can remember only recently in the last year. I don't know what it was, the experience that I had, but it was like, I remember all of a sudden I was like, wow, like normally I experience life emotionally, and physically and intellectually. And now all of a sudden, oh, I was having a conversation with someone on the phone, but now I'm experiencing it energetically, right?
Mhm.
And I was having a conversation with a friend on the phone, and I was so excited to be talking to him. I don't remember specifically what we were talking about, both about what we were doing and what we were going to be doing, but I was like pacing around the room with the phone, like talking and feeling really good, and experiencing that conversation on an energetic level. And when you said I'm experiencing life in high definition, that's what I felt. That's kind of, I related
Mhm.
to that experience. Um, so now that you're doing all of that, what's next for Ashleigh Paige?
My goal, so my 5-year goal is to actually leave my traditional job. I have a pretty good job, which has a pension and benefits. It's very comfortable. But
Mhm.
my passion, what lights me up, what gets me up in the morning and keeps me going is this type of work. And I love when I can give someone a reading and I can empower someone and I can give them guidance and I can show people. One of the things that I really love is I love to show people that it's possible. It's possible to transform yourself, that you're not, bound by these limitations, from your story and all these constructs from society, that you can actually work through all of these things and transform. And that's another reason why I'm very open about my struggles, is because I know there's going to be someone listening that's going to hear that and think like, wow, like, I'm not, what's the word? I'm not a prisoner
Right.
to, these perceived flaws. And, this person has, taken these things and worked through them and they've transformed and they've made it. So I want to show people it's possible. That's really what lights me up is transformation and
I
showing people.
love that. And I love exactly the way that you're saying it too, right? Because I feel like, not necessarily, I want to say intentionally, because it was intentionally, but not, I didn't know it. But that's what this is.
Mm.
That's what this show is. That's what I do is, because I'm nobody special. I'm just like anybody else,
Mhm.
right? But here I'm hosting a show. I'm bringing guests on my show. I'm having these conversations. I have an audience that shows up like all the time and fills up the front row, right? It's like I'm so blessed to be doing what I'm doing and to be living the way I'm living, and knowing that it's just going to get better all the time, right? And what's cool is this specific moment that we are living in, right?
Mhm.
If you back out and you look at some of the things that are going on, you could be like, ooh, this
It's heavy.
does not look good, right? But again, it's my choice how I want to look at it, right? So all of those things that I kind of don't really like that are going on, I'm like, well, that's not me. I'm not contributing that energy to the world. I'm contributing this energy to the world. And
Mhm.
that's all I can do. And again, I feel like that's it, right? Like that's what brings us both here to these little squares, talking to each other, across the border.
That's right.
I love it. I love it.
Are you in New York, by the way? I don't think I asked you that.
Yes, I am in New York. I'm on Long Island. I've been in New York my whole life. I have family that's spread out across the country. My mom's in Arizona. My sister's in California. My brother's in Chicago. And I'm still living in New York. Yes, choice. So we come to a good part of the show now. We talked a little bit about it. We have about 20 minutes left of the show. But you said that you would be up for doing some readings.
Mhm.
I know that the Sacred Spiral Network loves readings. So how do you want to do it? I know you said you like to do cards. If you feel anyone that you're drawn to, do you want people to just let you know that they're open to a reading? We can pick people from the audience if anybody's reading.
That'd be great.
Already Arnie, who is a good friend of the show, is saying he would love a message. If you want to,
Let me just see here. Sorry,
warm
everyone. My
yourself
cat is laying on the cards.
up.
Getting that black cat energy in there. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to put open in the comments.
Yep.
I'm gonna
And now Maggie, hello Maggie and Shadow. Is that your cat? No, maybe not. I was thinking that Shadow was your cat.
Her name is actually Mitz.
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 I like that. Does she have like white paws or something? Or?
Everyone, it's funny because her real name is Mittens, and usually people ask that because she, with the paws. But she used to just, ever since a young age, she'd climb on top of me and she would be purring and she'd do the biscuits.
The kneading thing. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I call her Mitz.
Cool.
Hello, Mitz. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Mitz. Yes.
Okay, I'm actually going to go to Brittany Marie Lambert here.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Let me just pull a card for you.
Bring up Brittany so we can focus our energy.
Here. Thank you. Let's see what we have for you today, Brittany. Okay, and that's funny because you were talking about cards flying out. And this one flew out.
There we go.
Here we go. So it says outrageous openness. And I've actually I love when I do these readings and I get cards that I've never pulled before. I'm also too not one of those people, I don't read the book that comes with the deck. I'm very much like an intuitive kind of reader.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to read it first. And it says, "Dear love, open me to your wills. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed, and I am open to receive." So I'm just going to tap into this energy here for you, Brittany. I feel like the message that I'm getting for you, Brittany, here is be open to what I'm hearing is be open to signs from the universe. And they might not come through exactly how you would expect them to come through. And also to let spirit surprise you with these messages and how they want to bring it forward. And trust that, what you receive. I feel too that, there's some doubt that I'm picking up on. And I feel like you actually are very intuitive. And I feel like you get a lot of signs from spirit, but it's almost like you doubt what you receive. So I feel like spirit's saying here, trust what you get. You are intuitive and be open to the wide range that spirit can give us those signs. Because sometimes people, I feel like, you know, if I don't see 333, then it's not confirmation. But I feel like spirit's saying really be open to whatever message comes through for you. So let me know in the comments, Brittany, if that resonates for you.
Awesome.
Let me just see. Shit, I'm open, beautiful butterflies. You know, I'm going to go to Vivian.
Vivian, nice. My Hawaiian.
It's funny. I was going to say, can you put in the comments where you're from? But you just answered my question.
Yeah, Hawaii is one of my favorite places on earth. I've been there once, and it was so spiritual. I felt like I was at the Garden of Eden.
Nice.
And Vivian is in Hawaii.
I've actually never been there myself, but it is one of the places, along with Egypt. And I don't know why, but I've always been drawn. Ooh, this is.
You don't know why.
No, that's one of those things. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like I've always been drawn, but
yeah.
This is actually really, really beautiful energy for you. And I'm just going to pull another card because I just want to get a little bit more information on this. But we have some Phoenix energy, and I'll show you the card in just a second. Vivian, this one flew out, so I'm going to take it. Butterfly Spirit. Wow. So wow. You have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You have transmutation and transformation. This is really, really powerful here. I also feel too, because I'm really getting drawn in. Let me know if this resonates, Vivian, but I'm really getting drawn into the blue butterfly in this card. So I feel like that's probably a sign for you. But I feel like this is massive spiritual transformation for you. This is, you know, everything that's no longer serving you is being moved out of your way. And I feel like what's coming up is what I actually talked about earlier in this show about being overwhelmed. I feel like you are at this, you know, precipice. That's the word I'm hearing of like awakening, and you're starting to open up. But what I'm hearing is that it is safe to open up. It is safe to open up and trust spirit. You are transforming. You are going to the next level. Everything. And I know sometimes when, you know, when things are ending, if I can say it that way, it can be very overwhelming, and it almost feels like we're ungrounded. But I feel like, you know, what's coming forward for you is massive transformation spiritually, and it is 100% safe to open up and let the journey unfold and trust that spirit always has your back and that you are safe to do so. So let me know, Vivian, if that resonates for you.
Amazing. Yes, Vivian says this means very much to me. She's very much resonating with you. Excellent. Yeah. And Brittany, by the way, Brittany said beautiful. Yes, it does resonate, and she's also from Canada.
Oh my God, I love that. Let me know where you're from in Canada in the comments. That's awesome. I always love seeing fellow Canadians on here. I think we had someone from Australia though too, no?
Yeah. Yeah, I love when the show is international. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. And actually we had Benno. Benno says where did it go? Benno says my mom was born in Egypt.
That was amazing. Yeah, I've always been drawn to the pyramids.
Nice. And then Jess is saying my great grand's name was Nefer after Nefertiti.
Hi Jess, I love you. That's my girl right there.
Oh yeah, good to see you. Good to see you, Jess. Sacred spiraler.
She's one of those I guess you could say kindred spirits, like soul sisters. It's like nice. I was actually in a class, we never got paired together, but she was on the top of the screen, and I ended up messaging her on Facebook, and I said, hey, do you want to practice? And we got together, and we've been friends ever since. But it was like I just knew, as soon as I saw her, I was like, I know we're gonna be
there. That's awesome. That's part of the whole deal, right? Just knowing.
I'm actually gonna go to Katie here.
Okay, cool.
9716. Let me know where you're from in the world, Katie. And thank you for coming. Let me see what we have for you today.
And we have another British Columbian, Crystal.
Oh, nice. Nice. It's funny. I feel like there's a theme coming out here. So
a theme,
Really big theme going on. So we've got trust, and I apologize because I know my camera does have a glare. I really got to work on the lighting. I'm not a technical person, so
No worries. You're
and
fine.
it says I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So this is, for me, a big message around, again, trusting your intuition and what you're receiving. And then I just looked over the bottom of the deck and we've got denial here. So again, I feel like this is like a repeat of that first message. It's like you're intuitive, you're getting, downloads, you're getting information from source, spirit, your guides, but it's like you're doubting it. So I feel like this is confirmation. And I feel too, like what's coming up is you're not crazy. I don't know why I need to tell you that. So I don't know if you've got people around you that maybe are not into this kind of thing. Don't listen to those people. Always follow what's true to you. I feel the need to tell you that too. And trust what you get, because everyone is connected to source. Not everyone is meant to walk this path, like do this professionally, but I believe that everyone has a connection and that we all have intuitive abilities. And even if you don't want to do this professionally, even just learning to trust your own intuition is going to immensely help you in life. So I feel like this was just right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So this is just confirmation that, you are getting intuitive downloads.
Yeah. And Katie says this resonates so much. And I gotta say too, like what I'm hearing and feeling as you're giving these messages, and especially because of this community, right? The people who show up who are open to these messages, I feel like very often the messages are kind of, everybody is meant to hear them. You know what I mean? Like because I know for me the same thing, right? Like, like I know I'm connected, right? I know I'm connected, but like I don't pursue it. I don't necessarily, like, I don't let go all of the way. And there are moments where I'm like, damn, I wish I could just let go. And so again, I think these messages, I think they're resonating with everybody. And Vivian is asking a great question. Does Ashleigh have a website? And I mentioned earlier, she goes by the No Filter Medium, and there's her website, the nofiltermedium.com. Great question, Vivian. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, thank you.
If you're resonating with Ashleigh, for sure, go check out her website. You can get personal readings and one-on-one time with her.
And I just want to go back to Katie's comment here. She says, I think I'm crazy sometimes because sometimes I can connect to spirit and mediumship and sometimes I can't. And I just want to make this okay for you, because especially in the beginning of the journey, that is something that is very normal. Even when you are a seasoned medium, there are times where the connection, for whatever reason, there's a multitude of reasons and sometimes too, it's because we go through things in life too. And sometimes it's because what I was getting for you was, I wanted to say grounding. I feel like grounding is going to be very, very important to you. And also to making sure that you're clearing your field. And it's funny because I actually thought about this earlier. I always tell my clients, we're all energetic beings. So a lot of people don't understand the importance of clearing one's field and space. It's basically like going to a public pool every single day and never taking a shower afterwards. And then you've just got everyone's stuff, right? That's just sitting in the energy field. So I feel like for you, Katie, grounding and making sure you're clearing your field before you're doing any type of spiritual work, even just day to day, will help significantly. And I feel like that will be very, very helpful for you.
What great advice. I feel like again I feel like almost like everybody needs to hear that, right? At times. I was just watching something on the way home, like kind of like have YouTube playing in my car, and a guy was talking about that when he was younger, being mentored, and the mentor saying, you should protect yourself, and kind of being like, I don't need to protect myself. And then I didn't get to it because I got home, but he was telling a story that something must have happened because he didn't protect himself when he was younger. And actually that was something that I saw when I was researching you a little bit, and I wanted to talk about your part of what you do is spiritual release. Can we talk about that for a moment? Can we
For
talk
sure.
about what that is specifically? Like, tell us what is spiritual release?
So spirit release therapy is a holistic therapy. I always tell people the best explanation, simplest explanation I can give you is about restoring one's sovereignty. Because we're energetic beings, we're always, I don't want to say being bombarded, but we're basically, what just came to mind there, I was like, I feel like we're running around in like a soup of energy.
I was, you know what? It's same thing. We're basically surrounded. Like bombarded isn't the right word, but surrounded. We're floating in a field of what you're
energy.
talking about. Like I don't even know. You didn't say it yet, but I know. I know what you're thinking. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's all about restoring one's sovereignty. And there can be multiple attachments. It depends on your belief system too, because I know not everyone's going to resonate with this. I actually had an experience myself where I had, you could say, I guess in their terms, a hex thrown at me. For me, I just look at it as lower vibrational energy, and I wasn't clearing my field properly. So that's why I'm also very big on education, like educating people on clearing their fields, because it is so important. Because like I said, we're always mixing with other people and energy. And when we don't clear our field properly, that energy can actually work its way into the inner field, and it can actually sometimes affect you physically. So there's multiple attachments. And again, it depends on your belief system, but it could be like ET interference. Even AI causes issues in people's energy fields. There can be implants, there can be, evil eyes, curses, hexes, those types of things. So basically what we do is I work actually with a facilitator, and I go into a light trance. And it's actually not me that's doing the clearing. I'm just basically the relay. So I've got someone reading questions to me, and my spirit guide, who is actually, we kind of train them to do this type of work. They're actually going in and they are clearing all of these energetic attachments, and they're just telling me what's there, why it's there, and then how it's cleared. And it's actually quite interesting, like what comes up. We look to it like your chakra system, because a lot of people, again, don't understand the importance of the energy centers and how important that is to your energetic system. So we do a bunch of clearing there. We also look too at your physical body, because as I said, if you're not clearing your field properly, those things can make their way in and they can affect you physically too. So it's quite interesting actually. And I had an experience myself, so that's kind of how I got into it. It's funny because I don't like to give power to things, because I believe in standing in your power, and that no one has any more power over you than you do over yourself. I'm really big on that. But I feel like, just because of my experiences, that sometimes there can be vulnerabilities, and the energy can work its way in. So it's something that I've just become passionate about. And I kind of felt like I was naturally called to it. It kept appearing in my awareness. So I ended up joining a class, and here I am.
Yeah, no, I think it's super important, and I'm glad you mentioned it. And actually, I feel like that was, everything happens for a reason, right? The right people are here to hear the right things. Katie specifically, you were talking to Katie. Katie is saying she doesn't know how to clear her fields. So, without giving away too much of the book, right, that you didn't write yet, but without giving too much away, is there something that you can recommend? Can you start to talk about like just some easy practices to clear your fields or stuff?
What's crazy is Arnie here actually mentioned the violet flame, and that's exactly what I do. And you can go on, my suggestion would be to go on YouTube, Google the violet flame transmission, violet flame meditation, and set that intention before you start, to work with your spirit team. Even if you don't know who your spirit team is, they're there for you. And ask them to help you, and that, set that intention by listening to this recording. It will fully and completely clear anything, seen or unseen, known or unknown, from your field that's not for your highest good, and that is no longer serving you. And just listen to that meditation. There's one on there, I forget the name of it. It's literally like 5 minutes, because I'm all about, like, I don't want to meditate for an hour. Right. I've got like so much on the go. I like, 5-10 minute meditations. Sure. But even doing that, like in the morning, at night, that will significantly help. But I'm a big believer in the violet flame.
Yeah.
So I would check that out.
Yeah. I know a few people who are very big into the violet flame, and for me, again, I preach it all, right? I feel like connect with what's going to work for you, right? Yes. And And don't feel bad, right? If you look at the violet flame and it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay too. Like there's something out there that will resonate with you. And for me, like the 3 breaths that I do at the beginning of the show, like even that is just a moment to be intentional with my energy and to put myself in the place I want to be.
Sound frequency for me is huge.
Yeah.
So I love how you use sage the bowl to
Thank
clear, because I do that too. It just depends. Like I'm really big on visualization, sound frequency, and intention. So now, because I've done like the violet flame meditation so many times, I actually can do it myself, and I do the visualization in my mind, and that's how I clear my space. That's how I clear myself. I basically picture like divine light coming through and just cleansing every single ounce, every single atom, every particle of my entire being, and just being like, and just watching it flush out. Like it's like water going down a drain. And then whenever you clear something, you always want to fill it with, I always say, the divine light of God, but whatever your belief system is.
Yeah.
And then reinforcing that shield, picturing that bubble around you, and that nothing can touch it.
Amazing. Awesome. Arnie says Kohens of light. Am I saying that right? Is that?
I've actually never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's specifically something or it's a mistype or whatever. But Arnie is, again, I feel like we all have these things to share, right? Like, hey, did you ever hear this? Did you ever try that? And you may be like, nah, not interested, or you may be like, oh, what is that? You know what I mean? And you'll know how you're going to feel, how you're going to react. Do you have time to do one more reading? I know I saw Kay Weezy pop up, and Kay Weezy is a sacred spiraler regular. We love Kay Weezy.
All right.
If you're open, Kay Weezy is popping in and actually saying
Can I have a reading? I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sending you lots of love. Oh.
Kay Weezy, we're all here. Everybody take a moment to send a little bit of light and love to Kay Weezy and his mom.
You have to let me know if this resonates. I flipped over the deck, and the card that came out here was intuition, but I feel like the heart is important. Is your mom in the hospital due to some heart issues? You have to let me know if that resonates. Let me just tap in here and see what we can get. I flipped over a couple other cards again there's so much blue here in intuition. Let me see what I can get here for you. Okay, Weezy, what I'm getting here is that I feel like trust that everything is going to be okay. I also feel too, like when I tap into your mom's energy, I also feel like there's like this fighter spirit, like someone that just will not give up. So I feel like there's this strong-willedness that's coming through. And, I feel like spirit is really saying here, trust that everything is going to be okay and that your mom will pull through this. I feel like there are some challenges here, but I feel also too that she is a fighter and that she will pull through this. I really do feel like that things will work out here. And I hope that gives you some, ease, because we have the ease card here too. So I hope that puts your mind at ease that this will have a positive outcome. Seeing if there's anything else I need to say here. Yeah, I feel like, sorry, I don't mean for such a long pause here.
No, I love it. Energy has to process, So
he's saying, they said it was cancer. One doctor said she didn't have cancer. Okay. So there's some difference of a... I still think that there will be a positive outcome here. So I hope what I said was able to provide you with some peace. and ease of mind.
Yes, and he also says his dad is in heaven, but he knows he's with her.
Always.
Always, 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 always.
There can be no
So
other way.
yeah, so I was just looking for it because I know Angelo sent me a text when he was talking about magic. He specifically was feeling like you have a friend or something related to magic as far as like performance magic, like magic tricks, like a magician, like not like tarot magic and you know ancient magic, but more like performance magic. Is that something that resonates with you at all? Do you have a friend or
No.
interest in magic? No? Okay.
But
I just
you
wanted
know what?
I just
I
wanted
like
to ask.
magic shows.
What's that?
I like magic shows though. Like I always find
You
it
like
I
magic
find it
shows?
fascinating. I'm like, how do they do this?
Yeah. No, it's fun. Angelo is again, I think everybody in this audience probably gets a little ping here and there of like something, knowing something, feeling something, wanting to say something. So and actually Vivian is asking very nicely, and I think this would be a good way to end the show. Would be a message for the collective.
It's funny because I actually read her message and I already started pulling the card.
There you go. How'd you know? You must be
right. So what came out actually was this beautiful card, and it says Forest Temple, and it's enlightenment. So I feel like this just like, and then we've got love here too. So I feel like there's just such an immense amount of love in this community on this show today. I definitely feel the energy, and just that there's a lot of people here that I feel are in that stage of their development where they're actually starting to open up and things, you know, we've got this enlightenment energy. It's quite beautiful. It's quite transformative. It's quite powerful. So I feel like this, you know, the love card too, in combination with this is again, back to that like self-love and really stepping into your power and really owning it and allowing spirit to show you and, you know, be open to how spirit wants to work with you. But I feel like this whole message is just about, you know, really trusting yourself and allowing yourself to open up and be a conduit for spirit.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I'm a big subscriber to everything happens the way it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, how it's supposed to. Yeah, everything. And Brianna's having deja vu of this conversation. The magician. Awesome. And Kay Weezy says that put her from ICU into her own room. So that is definitely a good direction. And I know a bunch of people who are sending Kay Weezy some love and Kay Weezy's mom some love. Jennifer says, good, beautiful cards and magic. And Kay Weezy, you made my day.
Thank you.
I'm glad we can be a part of that. So much, Kay Weezy. And I'm always glad to see you showing up in the audience. Again, this community always has lots of love. I think there's more conversation going on in the chat with each other. Everyone saying, hey, what's up, how you doing? And I just love that. But thank you. And Jess says that's a great message as well. But I have to thank you. This was so much fun to talk to you. I'm so glad we got to meet and talk, and I'll have to have you back. We'll have to do it again.
Love that.
Another spin around the spiral, as they say. So we definitely will pass each other again. Yeah, thank you guys for all showing up. I love this energy. Keep it up. No, you know, the overall theme I think of tonight was trust, right?
Yeah,
Just know that everything is the way it's supposed to be. The new energies that people are coming into, like, just trust, just go with it. I love it. I'm excited about tomorrow and the world and where we're going. So thank you, Ashleigh, for showing up. Thank you, Jennifer Rose, for showing up. Me and my shadow, thank you for showing up. Thank you, everybody, for showing up.
Thank you.
I will let me open up my calendar real quick because I do think I have some stuff on the horizon. I just had Sandy Granada. I don't have a guest lined up for Thursday, so it's gonna be one of those days. Just trust and show up that it's gonna be an amazing conversation. I have Sonia Ribas coming up on the live stream, and I will actually be on Paranormal Pete's show on Wednesday the 20th. I'm going to be a guest on the show, so that's going to be an interesting spin. So I hope to see you guys there. Again, Ashleigh, thank you so much for being here with me, and Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.
Love and peace. Bye-bye.